What's cracking, Hope Nation? It's Kevin Hines, and I want to tune you into something that's really amazing. We've been doing these Askkevs for quite some time now, but now we're adding a clinical perspective to the end of every Askkev video by none other than the great Dr. April Foreman, our clinical specialist. It's going to be fantastic, energetic, entertaining, and she is going to break down the video I do in her clinical way, in the way only she knows how. So please enjoy, watch, listen, learn, and glean everything you can from Dr. Foreman at the end of this very important Askkev video made for you. I like Dr. Foreman to talk about that after I briefly make a point. I have been psychiatrically hospitalized for suicidality 8 times. But it was my 3rd psychiatric hospital stay where I said, from this point on, I will be self-aware enough to walk myself into care and to hospitalize myself. And that's a rare occurrence, I think. And I know that for me, it was my uncle George coming to my aid in the 3rd psych ward stay, as you saw, I think, in the movie, who said, do you want to be in and out of this place for the rest of your life? When are you going to put the effort in to stabilize? Most of the time that I began to live with this routine and regimen that I still live with today. But every time I became suicidal, I'd walk to a family member, usually my wife or my father, and I'd say, I need help now. And that's how I ended up in those last 5 stays. In those last 5 stays, I survived that suicidal pain by walking into a psych ward and saying, I need to be here, or I won't be here. And so that's coming from my personal perspective. I try to teach that to individuals all over the world. The problem we have is, yes, they'll be hospitalized for 72 hours. And that is not so much an individual situation, but a broken system. And unless we find a way to help them in such a manner that is not terrifying, that does not put them in a seclusion room where they're shackled, or I mean, I can tell you, I was in California in a straitjacket in a white-walled padded room when it was already illegal, and that is unacceptable. When I travel the world, I try to find places that break through those barriers, and I found some of them, some of the best ones in North Carolina, where certain mental health psych units treated individuals as human beings across the board rather than patients. I mean, they had lighting specifically designed to be calming for the brain. They had seclusion rooms that were not seclusion rooms. They are a monitor with, the old school fish, screensaver, and a lazy boy you sit in with a non-toxic marker that you can write on the wall with. And you would think, oh, they're gonna write terrifying, horrific things on the wall that are psychotic. No, most of the writings on the wall included, thank you for not shackling me to a flat board. Thank you for not putting me in a straitjacket. Thank you for being kind to me. And the entirety of these psych units is based upon the kind care of the individual who walks in based upon their particular diagnoses, issues, or struggles. But the best part about this unit, and I'm thinking of the Mindy Levine Center, the best part about this unit was that when parents, loved ones, or family members come in to deliver the one they love to this care, a peer support specialist who has been hired at the same rate as the clinical care workers in the room, who lives with lived experience, who understands in a very real way what this individual may be going through, sits down, assesses the family members, and says, here's what we're going to do, here's our treatment plan, and here's our breakdown. When the individual comes through in the ambulance, the first thing they're greeted by is murals of beautiful flowers on the ambulance wall. Now, this is not possible right now because we don't have any funding to make this scalable, but we must find it so that when I go in next time, if I do, I'm met with the kindness and the care that someone who has a broken arm is met with. someone who has liver disease, kidney disease, lung disease, heart disease is met with. Instead of me being not just marginalized, but purely discriminated in the place that's supposed to serve me. So thank you for your question. Dr. Foreman, do you have any thoughts on that?
So I'm here to be this me, right? But I just couldn't agree more. We should be designing systems of care for the people we take care of, not for the convenience of doctors. And it's not okay. It's just not okay. It's why I do what I do. Couple things we know. Number one of the major acute risk factors for suicide death is a recent inpatient hospitalization. There's no evidence that hospitalizing people reduces suicide deaths, and there is some evidence that it makes it worse. Number two, ask Marshall and Ann. And number two, we undertrain clinicians how to not hospitalize. We just do, and that's wrong. And we should train people better. Number three, when we do hospitalizations, I happen to know that Kevin will go get help when he needs it, and I also know that you've had a real range of hospital experiences. So if we are going to hospitalize people, we're going to do it sometimes against their will and take away their civil liberties. We should do that with all the attention to their care and well-being that we can, as opposed to attention to liability management and convenience of other people. And finally, Skip Simpson, who's on our board, always talks about abolishing something called Q15. So here's the deal. Number one way that people die inpatient is by suicide. It's like for mental health, that's the thing that happens. And we know that nobody dies if they're constantly given monitoring and attention. We know that. It's like a way that we can absolutely prevent inpatient suicide deaths. But often, because we are not good at the design and the staffing of hospitals, we do 15-minute checks, and that's how people die by suicide. We would want to ensure that the hospital systems that we are working with use the best practice and not the practice where people pass away. So if we could be using our data to advocate, and if we could be advocating for good care, that would be fabulous.
One of the things that I love about the Minden Levine Center is that they also designed their hospitals to be without suicide. From the way the windows are designed, to the beds, to the paper they hand out, across the board. We have those few places that exist. Let's mimic them. Let's at least work tirelessly to try.